Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. To continue my RV camper repair, I repaired a front floor joist and end up in a lower front wall framing adventure when I get caught up in the middle of a rainstorm that reveals a catastrophic leak due to a troubled travel cover that I repair. Alright, in episode 3 of RV number 2 repair, I've got power now coming from RV number 1, the off-grid hybrid over here. I had almost enough extension cord to get halfway over to here, and I borrowed this from my neighbor to make it up in here, and I think I'm going to leave it, I'll wrap it up for weather and stuff, but I'm going to leave it as a more or less a half permanent setup. So I got power in here, and I'll show you what we're going to do today. Okay, we're going to start with a fan. Got a fan going on in here now off the AC. It was a lot easier than trying to set up batteries or power bank or DC or whatever, solar panels and all that. Again, easier just to run an extension cord, since I'm not going to have it on all the time, just when I'm out here. All right, anyway, take the skill saw. We're going to set the depth, take the chalk line and mark a line, and cut out several inches of flooring so that I can get enough access to those front floor joists to replace them. And if we get lucky, maybe we'll get this floor changed out sooner than later today. All right, as we take a look at what we've got going on over in this corner, it's gonna actually be pretty straightforward at this point. I imagine I just go ahead and peel these out and recreate these. These are 27 3/4 inch long. You can see somebody's already changed a few of these out, and they've already rotted since. That one's gonna need to be repaired back to about here. This one's in pretty good shape. Same with that one. That one probably needs a 6 inches or so to get swapped out. Same with this one. But I got this piece cut to set right in there as soon as I pull that out. And I imagine I cut this piece here I will probably need to make it 3 inches longer to go past there, to go out to the edge of the wall, whereas this one is going right to the inside of here on each side. I make these, what I'll probably do is have to build this wall first and then set it down in there, and that might require lifting on the rest of this to get this to fit in there, aside from the fact that that's just rotted out. But once I get that done, I can put this floor in and then start lifting up and reframing the insides of these missing walls. All right. Whew. Oh, huh. I need to plug the cord back in. I had to move it to use the saw. I need one more long cord to come out here, and then like I said, I got some permanent power up here. Anyway, before I go do all that though, it's been raining real hard the last few days, and it's wet up in here, but it's not over there, even though that's a bigger gap than that. But the trailer is leaning really hard this way. So I don't know if, yeah, is that wet? No, I don't. Yeah, that's a little wet right there. Oh, there it is right there. Well, that's simple if it's just a window. My other RV had a problem with it leaking right here, and I can even see some caulking. What I did was I just put a piece of foil tape right there and it worked for about a year at a time. Anyways, let's go plug in the fan and get this done. Okay, a few remarkable things I'd like to point out is this is pretty rotted, and I think ideally when they get to this point, I probably want to just take a piece and run it all the way back to where the other piece of frame comes over. Although I think this one actually lays on the frame. This one doesn't. That one doesn't. Nope. Well, nope. That one doesn't lay on the frame either. So, yeah, like I said, the best thing to do is where you got the frame rails coming here is to run it all the way down to the other end, which I might do when I peel the floor up. Anyway, some more remarkable things. This is how they do the HVAC, the heating ventilation in this thing is just between a couple of floor joists, put a metal tray in there, folding the edges up, and then they just put the fluoride on top of it, and they put a little bit of it's not even aluminum, it's this aluminum, there it is right there, this stuff right there. They put a layer of that right there. And they put the floor on, and they just literally cut some holes in it, put a vent on there. And then of course it's got the plastic and insulation underneath it. But it's already, you can see it's all grimy and sticky, and especially in the bathrooms next to the bathtubs, these things will rot out, and it's a mess. They like to collect rodents and stuff in there too. It's pretty bad. I don't like the way these are designed I like the way they're designed. I don't like the way they're built. I'm gonna end up, if I do central heating, I'll be putting insulated, ducts, independent, going out to each duct from the furnace through the floor like this without all this craziness. Anyway, so that window's leaking. Now that I know it, I know what I got to deal with. But fixing the other side, I kind of created a problem for myself because I've got water building up in here. And really what I need to do is take the siding off and pull the plastic out to drain it. But you can see this plastic's already compromised pretty bad. So I went ahead and just took my knife, cut a little slit in the low spot and let it drain out. And I guess I don't know if my power cord will handle it, and I'm only like up in the upper 40s on my battery because it's been raining the last 2 days, and I haven't run my generator to top them off. But today looks like a sunny day so far, so maybe I'll go get the shop back out and see if that power cord will handle it and get up here and clean all this out proper before I put this floor piece in. Yeah, I gotta go on the outside, take those screws out too. And I gotta fix that window. I gotta get that window to stop leaking somehow right away, because that's just gonna be a disaster. Now, I got it all cleaned out. I even test fitted this piece that fits perfect. I finally got a good, solid, perfect cut. I went around the outside and looked, and it's missing on my other RV, but it's also probably repatched up. But on this one, they've actually got a piece of the corner trim running along here with the screws, and then the little dome stripping over it, little stripping to cover the screws, which is good because I can take that off, clean it up, butyl tape it, put it back on. And while I'm at it, and I've got these off, I can go ahead and just take that piece of aluminum siding off, and well, maybe I want to leave that siding on until after I build my put my framing from a wall and set it in and get it lined up and attached, then take the aluminum off and set it back on, because right now the aluminum siding is actually kind of holding this all together and in shape. We'll see, one step at a time. Right now the floor is important, but the important thing is there's a break in the siding here, so it's only a shorter piece, and I can take that off and put it back on a couple of times if I need to. Same with the corners, so I have access to right down here for doing that bottom plate and the framing if I can't get it to set in this way well enough. All right, we're going to continue with Taking this off. All right, I had to take the siding off the outside there because it looks like I cut these here just a little too long, so I need to come and just trim those off to there. The other side came out pretty good. I think I can work with that. And this thing's not attached yet. In fact, when I put this right here on that, this right here ends up lining up with that. But anyway, I attached these two in the center here. Like I said, I'm just going to rebuild this entire wall here, and or at least the bottom half of it for now. And the easiest way to do this, honestly, see what they did was, this is like 1 1/4 by 1.5 inch. And they just took a piece of this top plate all the way across, and a bottom plate all the way across, and this is holding the floor. The floor stops here, and what they did was they just attached this here and just set it up against there and attached it there and there, and it really wasn't supported in the middle so much, and then just put the stripping on the outside to hold the bottom. Well, shoot, I'm getting rained out. Hopefully that won't get too wet right there. Uh-oh, I better pull that insulation out a little. Man, oh man, that kind of sucks. I was making some good progress too. You can see I got the other board in there. I gotta go and trim that right there, but this right here lines right up along there, and you see it lines up with the siding out there, and then attaches there, and then the wall sits there. The one advantage I'll have to this is I can leave it low like this, and then when I come over and put the bottom plate and raise that up an inch and a half, inch and a quarter, inch and a half or so, I can just simply slide that up and reattach it and keep this angle straight, because the whole idea is keep this rain out by getting these corners tightened up. Bummer. Big bummer. Well, I got a piece of tape on the window. See, and that's where it was leaking before. Oh, nope, there's a leak right there. Boom. Drip. So it's coming from around the window as well, which I kind of thought it might be. Yeah, that travel cover is leaking real bad. And which was funny, because I was actually this close to taking that travel cover off and putting some butyl tape on it. to make it stick. Woo, yeah, see, before that, all that was going up into here and filling this up, and you ought to see the puddle this left underneath the RV after I poked that earlier, and oh no. That's terrible. Well, I guess I didn't grab everything from outside, but at least now I know for sure where it's leaking, and I know I'd take that travel cover off, put it back on, and a little caulking, and that won't leak anymore. I'll get that fixed. But if that's where it's at, and that's where I'm working on, oh, the drip right there. Where is it coming from? Huh, I don't see any drip, anything wet, but I see a spot of water right there, and I swear I just saw it splash. Maybe it's, oh, look at that right there. All right, yeah, that's getting all wet and soggy, so I need to seal that up right away. That ain't too hard. Again, I just pulled butyl tape out, and that'll fix almost everything. Alright, now it's time to get the microphone on. Enough ASMR with the rain. It looks like it just went away. I can get back to work. Just remember, if you don't like the weather in Florida, wait 5 or 10 minutes. Alright, really, that came out quite nice. Look at that. That lines up real nice. This thing here, go right out here. And that, this side will line right up with that. Along this. Alright. Okay. I'm going to take, now that I got this lined up, take a couple of super duper long screws, set one on each side, and then we'll go ahead and work on this front wall, building it and lining it up, setting it in. All right, yesterday I kind of gave up on recording because just started getting overwhelmed and get desperate just to get this thing patched up for the evening. And I went ahead and got the front siding back on and realized that the corners still aren't quite lining up right. This one's pretty close, but you can see the difference, which actually doesn't seem to be too uncommon, but it's bowing out a little bit because I just kind of had to force it in there. But the other thing I've noticed is over here, it's a little bit of a gap, and I may just have to cut that a little short and try to push that way a little bit. And also this here, you know, this thing needs to go up that way to push that in a little bit, because I think I got this the right height, but I can't get this to slide up that way with all this weight sagging on it. Back up a little bit. All the weight sagging on it, and I really believe I did this in the wrong order, but I did what I got to work with, because the flooring yesterday actually didn't work out, because my neighbor who was storing it for me ended up taking one of the sheets coincidentally at the same time, the same morning, and using it in somebody else's RV, and said, well, I have to go run down to the parts store and get it replaced for you. And by that time I was just decided to go ahead and start working on something else, which is again patching this up, but putting this together. I fixed it up. You see the foil tape idea I had to keep the water off of it while the caulking dried, and now I can peel it up, maybe without falling off the ladder, I hope. Anyways, you can see I actually did a quality job installing this, and straightened it out. It had a top corner of it was bent a little bit. That corner was bent because that thing there was rusted out, or it was rusted tight, and somebody apparently just tried to close it like that and bent that corner. So I took this whole thing down yesterday. Oh goodness gracious. Took that whole thing down yesterday and took it all apart, straightened it out, put the panel, lined the panel back up on the outside edges the way it's supposed to be. After I freed that up, loosened it up, and now it works like it's supposed to. You can actually go up there and hold it all the way down and back up. Of course it'll have to come off again. Same with the window, it's coming out of there and gonna get put back on. I'm starting to run out of these screws from all the RV projects I've done. So I've got another 1,000 of them ordered this morning. It's about $50 for a box of those things. It's expensive, but it is what it is. And same with this. I'm I don't know, down to about 20 or 30 feet of it, if even. So I got another 100 feet of that ordered this morning and on the way. Be here next week to start working on all of these edges and corners, because I'm going to go ahead and get up on the roof and get some new materials and start getting the vents and everything up on the roof straightened out. Like I said, may even just peel the roof right on off of there and re-glue it before I put everything back down. I don't know yet. But how's that for function? It still doesn't close right, but at least I got it opening up. So anyway, the last thing what I was trying to say is that at least this shouldn't leak here anymore. Like I said, this lined up real good. You know, you can see this lined up just right, but it still seems too wide. I haven't quite figured out how to mitigate that if it actually sticks out on the frame. I mean, maybe it is just as simple as cutting these a little, you know, half-inch shorter and sliding it over, and that might straighten the whole thing out. Okay, so two things I learned. One, need to get better about getting this out of here. Again, it's raining, kind of got overwhelmed and caught up, but that kind of got in my way. Anyway, that right there, I kind of, okay, the lesson I learned is this was a wrong order to do things. I kind of thought that since I had this piece of siding off, I should go ahead and build this up to try not to have to take it off twice, but I'm gonna have to take that off again anyways. So I really should have waited on that and just did the floor. Kind of half wasted my time, kind of half not, because when I did take this off, I really did kind of need a spot to reattach this bottom piece of siding so that I could put, the middle piece of siding, so I could put the bottom piece of siding up into there and secure it. So, and it's all, you know, free wood. I just a time, energy, and now I can't reuse the wood for anything else. And, you know, cut these an inch short, so I had to remake these. I mean, I really wasted a lot of energy, but I can reuse the bottom pieces. So what I was saying though about the lesson I learned is I should have followed my procedure like I wanted to. Put the floor in first and then build these walls up with the floor being able to use to lift the wall straighten and put the bottom plates and new studs in. Then that would have supported all the weight on the front, and I could just literally just put a piece of wood in there. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't be trying to force this in and lift that up and trying to squeeze that. It just line right up. I just make the pieces to fit because it'd all be self-supporting, and those would basically just be there to hold the siding corners together. So anyway, yeah, floor first, then the front wall. That more or less was halfway a waist. So anyway, I'm off to the church to go do my volunteering at the soup kitchen and take a break from this. But what a difference though. I went from drooping and sagging and falling out in the sides, and that thing stuck cockeyed and half open and leak pouring water and filling up over in here, to pretty tight and solid and functional. Same with the door. The whole wall was just hanging out like this, and now it's actually, well, there's no framing left. That's what I was talking about. I gotta do that, but anyway, and this thing was like this. Now it's like that. Then we get to do it all over again for the back, but the back doesn't look near as bad as the front. Bye. All right. So, finally got what I wanted. For the most part. it closes without tools. Fantastic. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that video at least as much as I enjoy life to make it so far. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you care to, and stay tuned. There's more to come. Tomorrow, while I'm uploading this video, I'll also be recording the next step, which is peeling out the first 2 pieces of flooring and replacing it with the 2 from my neighbor now that I got my supply issues straightened out. I've also got a washing machine that the logic board is coming out to set up in there after I do the walls and paneling. See you next time.